everyone, it's Wacky Anime What If here to present you with What If Deku Had a Yandere Quirk, Part 4. Let's get into this. Bakugo POV. Currently, Bakugo Katsuki has just woken up. He's yawning and stretching his arms out, immediately feeling a chilling sensation down his spine, but he ignores it. He thinks, what am I gonna do today? Maybe I'll go beat up that nerd. Explosions or punches? Explosions or punches? Screw it, explosions. He raises his hands in the air and does a mini explosion. And he says, explosions for the win. While he's thinking this and says it out loud, he hears a door creak open. He immediately turns to the side and sees that his closet door is slightly open. Bakugo, being the fearless guy he is, gets up immediately. In his mind is screaming, there's no such thing as monsters, there's no such thing as monsters. While walking towards the closet, he is about to close the closet door all the way after he puts his hand on it. And right when he's about to, he sees a hand pop out of the closet, opening it further, and immediately Bakugo screams so loud that it sounds like a little girl. And some people are quite worried. And Bakugo is currently running the absolute shit away from that closet. Like, he is running all the way towards his door, immediately open that closet so quickly that you would think he had a speed quirk. He literally just pulled a Sonic the Hedgehog. He closed it behind him, ran all the way towards the restroom, opened it, closed it, locked it, put a deadbolt lock on it, and said to himself, I should have just ran down the stairs. God damn it, I'm so fucking stupid, is what he says. Right when he's saying that, in his head, he ends up thinking, well, I could call the police, I guess, is what he thinks. Then he pats himself on the side where his pockets are, realizes, oh shit, I forgot my phone. Well, nothing I can do now, I guess. He just starts, immediately while he's in the restroom, he just starts to change his clothes into his school clothes, and immediately before he's about to walk out, right towards the door, he is about to unlock it. Right when he does, he opens it very slowly, and it reveals that there's nothing in front of the door. So Bakugo thinks, oh, maybe it's my active imagination. Must have had too much coffee or something. Maybe too much sugar. He walks towards his room, opens the door, immediately gets all of his things from his room that he can for his school, and right when he's about to leave, he looks towards his closet and sees someone exiting out of the closet. And she has a glowing red eye, a clock eye, and long hair with 2 red ribbons. Immediately, Bakugo in his mind just said, I done fucked up. While the person exiting the closet just says, I'm a warrior. Immediately, Bakugo has a danger sense go off, and he just starts bolting towards the door. Right when he's bolting towards the door, he realizes, oh shit, she's already in front of the door. What could I do now? I could jump out the window, but I'd break my leg. While he's thinking about this, she's basically bum rushing him, like right towards him. And he's still in his mind that's thinking. He's like, I get it, I'll jump out the window, he thinks, but looks in front of him and sees she's already in front of his face, and sees the horrifying objects that she has in her hands. One is a thing of lipstick. Another thing beside it is a dress and high heels. And Bakugo just starts screaming, no, 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 while Kurumi screams, yes, yes, yes. Immediately, you could hear the most horrified scream coming from Bakugo. Like, you thought there was a murder in that household, but no, it was him, Bakugo. And Izuku has just woken up, and right when he wakes up, he hears a loud, girly scream, and he's saying, oh my god, what happened to Bakugo? And immediately thinking, what happened to Kacchan, he looks outside and sees directly into his room Kurumi trying to fit him into a dress and high heels while putting lipstick on him. And immediately Bakugo looks outside his window and sees Izuku staring in through the window, and he mutters out words silently, please help me. Izuku just looks to the side, he starts to whistle, closes the window, and puts curtains in front of it, and just starts to walk away while Bakugo's like, you fucking jackass. And right while that's happening, Izuku's thinking, okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and get ready for school. He gets all of his clothes ready, he walks down the stairs, goes towards the diner table, sits down, and immediately notices, oh, so is my mom making breakfast today, or do I make it, or... And then notices, oh, wait, someone's making it, but who is it? Immediately walks towards the figure, and it's very dark because he hasn't turned on the light yet. So as soon as he taps her, she turns around, and all he sees is the one red glowing eye, and he thinks, oh shit, I fucked up. But then he turns on the light and says, oh, it's just Kirby. And Kirby's just slightly disappointed because he's showing no reaction anymore. And it was more amusing before. But she made pancakes, eggs, grits, bacon, and also some granola bars on the side. And she also has orange juice, like they're all on a plate, directly on the diner, and she immediately, on the actual diner table, she immediately says, go ahead and sit down and go ahead and eat. While Izuku says, you didn't do anything to this, did you? And she literally puts her hand towards her chest and acts slightly offended. She acts offended and says, oh, I would never. And then Izuku says, then why is the orange juice purple? And she says, oh, it's just a new type of orange juice. Izuku immediately just looks at her and just says, that's sus. So he just eats all the food and immediately is looking towards the orange juice and says, I'm going to leave before she makes me drink that. Immediately he gets up, runs towards the door, and right when he does, she says, hold up, Izuku, you forgot to drink the orange juice. While Izuku says, that ain't no orange juice, that's death juice. While she says, no, it's not, it's orange juice. She says with a creepy smile and red glowing eye, and Izuku's like, this does not help your case. And he just runs towards the door, opening it very quickly, running past some guy with a work outfit on, who's heading towards his door with a package. And Izuku's thinking in his mind, oh shit, that's my package. It finally came. I mean, it's been 2 weeks, so... Yeah, I'm just gonna continue running, though, because he sees Kirby just phasing through the door that he just closed and locked, while the guy delivering his package just placed the package on the porch, looks up and sees Kirby just go right through the door, just phasing through the shit. He immediately just looks at her and runs the fuck away. He runs right into his work van, just drives off, and Izuku feels bad for the guy because he looked like he just shit his pants. Sadly, he actually did. But that's another story for another time. Izuku's still running and notices, oh, I really can't outrun her, can I? Because he looks to the side, immediately sees Kirby just floating next to him, giving no fucks in the process, while just staring at him, and says, drink it, while having the purple orange juice still in her hand, and Izuku says, no, while she just says, yes. Immediately, Izuku says, then why don't you drink it? And she says, I don't like orange juice. And Izuku just says, then why do you make me orange juice? And she said, because it's healthy. And Izuku says, okay, you know what, fine. He just stops right in front of UA, says, I'll drink the orange juice. He grabs the purple liquid and is about to drink it, then looks into the actual liquid of orange juice, supposedly purple orange juice, mind you, and sees that it's smiling at him. And Izuku, being scared for his life, just says, hey, Kirby, are you sure this is safe? While Kirby says, I'm 98% sure it's safe. And Izuku in his mind's like, what about the 2%? He immediately looks to the side and sees this grape-headed kid walking onto UA campus with what seems like oh no. Oh my god, this man has balls on his head is what Izuku's thinking. Grapes. Immediately he thinks, oh, I'll just hand this to him. He goes towards him and hands him the juice and says, here you go, here's some grape soda. I didn't really want it. Immediately he says, oh, thank you. He just grabs it, drinks it, and Izuku says, you know you shouldn't drink things from strangers, right? And he says, oh, I mean, you look kind of not. And then he just falls to the ground, and Izuku's like, I feel so bad. Then he looks towards Kurumi, while Kurumi just has a fake shocked face. Oh my god, he passed out. Yeah, I'm just gonna go. She just disappears while Izuku was about to question her on what the fuck was in that drink. While Izuku's still thinking about that, he sees that he's in front of UA campus and is like, oh, well, I'm gonna go ahead and go towards the gate real quick. He's walking towards the gate while the purple grape, who's still on the ground, is grabbing the back of his leg and says, "Help me, call the ambulance." While Izuku just looks at him and says, let me think about that. No. While he just says, "You're a dick." And then he falls back asleep. Izuku just walks right towards the gates of UA and thinks in his mind, I'll become a hero. For myself, for All Might, and for my mother. I'll become a hero that people need and that people want. He immediately walks into UA campus. Right when he walks through the gates, he ends up realizing something. Oh shit, I'm falling. He tripped over a damn pebble. And then he's thinking, all that training, surviving a Yandere, and many other things, just to trip over a pebble in front of the UA gates. Someone just kill me now, he thinks in his mind, while Gurumi's on top of a building across from UA, just staring and watching while eating popcorn and drinking a soda at Izuku's misery. While also thinking, should she catch him? But before she could, POV change. Rock. The pebble. The pebble is looking at Izuku like, I'm about to end this man's whole career. As soon as he just tripped, immediately thought, I just ended his whole career. Izuku, POV. Okay, so I have not hit the ground yet. It's been like 2 minutes. Should have hit the ground. And then he hears a voice saying, sorry for helping you with your date with the ground, but I decided to help you. After all, life is a gamble, and this might help me out later on. He hears a feminine voice say. Izuku immediately gets out of the person's grasp, who has 3 slender fingers right behind his actual collar on his shirt. He looks behind him and sees one of the most beautiful females that scream out danger, but is still quite beautiful. This girl in a This girl in a dress, a dark dress, with red eyes and one finger blade, sort of, on one of her actual finger, on her index finger, and she has long drill-like hair. Immediately, Izuku says, thank you for helping me. Turning to face her, right when he did, he sees that her reaction changes and she's blushing slightly. And Izuku, in his mind, thinks, oh no, I done fucked up, haven't I? Why have you done this to me? Is what he thinks in his mind. While POV change. Unknown girl. Currently, she was walking to UA entrance exam thinking about how many suckers can she end up gambling with and making them lose their entire life while gambling. Or maybe make it to where they'll never gamble again. She's smiling to herself while thinking this. Then she pulls out some of her England candy, her British candy, and starts eating it, while noticing that in front of her, this green-haired boy is about to trip. She immediately looks at him a little bit analyzing, and sees that he has a good physique. He seems smart, is what her first impressions are. And immediately she's thinking, maybe I could do this as an investment, or a gamble, might you say. She thinks in her head, while she walks very closely behind him, and picks at the back of his collar shirt with 3 of her fingers and lifts him up. With quite impressive strength. She immediately thinks, so I wonder what his reaction to this is. As soon as he turned around and started speaking, she tuned out after she saw his face in exact detail, while being face to face to him. She immediately in her mind thought, you know what? What's a queen without a king? She thinks. While Izuku has a face of, oh, I just fucked up, didn't I? And then the girl introduces herself. My name is Celestia Lunenberg. I'm here to attend UA. After all, life is a gamble, and I might as well gamble being a hero than being a villain. After all, villainy doesn't actually pay, is what she says, quoting a certain hero. While Izuku says, well, how much does a hero actually pay? Is what he's thinking in his mind before he realizes, actually, I'm not really wanting the money, though. I just want to be a hero to save people, not knowing he said that out loud. While she immediately looks at him and thinks in her mind, good morals, looks adorable, looks like a cinnamon roll, and is very smart, or seems intelligent enough. Yeah, that's mine. That's totally mine now. While Kurumi, POV, she's watching this interaction and she's fuming with jealousy. She pulls out her flintlock and points it directly towards Lunenburg and says, "Target acquired," and immediately has like a little headset mic on her saying, "Target acquired." And a voice comes out of the headset saying, "Who are you and how did you get this radio frequency?" While she says, "That does not matter. A thought needs to be slain." Immediately firing her bullet. Izuku POV. He just heard a gunshot, and immediately he backed away. Seeing that the gunshot was heading towards the girl in front of him, which introduced herself as Celestia Lunenburg, immediately grabbed her hand and pushed her towards him. They both fell to the ground, and Celestia Lunenburg is directly on top of Izuku, and has her face buried into his chest right now, while the bullet just barely missed. Kurumi POV. She immediately thinks, "This bitch just made moves on my man." Then she points her gun towards them and says, "You know what? I'll calm myself today. But you may have won the battle, but you have not won the war," is what she says while putting away her flintlock. And people on the other side of the comm set are like, "How did you get this frequency? And why crazy bitch shoots people in public?" And she immediately throws the headset away and is like, "I don't even know where I got this from." And thinks, yeah, I'll kill her later. And she just disappears really creepily. And Izuku POV. Izuku currently sees that Celeste Lunenburg is on top of him and has her face buried into his chest. And he swears that he felt her sniff him. Currently, he's blushing very, very badly because the only woman that actually has been near him is Kurumi. And Kurumi, as well, has flashbacks to all the horrifying events before. Flashback, POV. Izuku currently is in his bed. He's about to plug his phone into his charger into his phone. He places it on the nightstand and then drops the phone, and it unplugs from the charger. And he's about to pick it up from right beside his bed before seeing a hand pick up the phone, lift it up in the air, and Izuku just grabs the phone and says, "Oh, thank you," plugs it into the charger, puts it right beside his nightstand, lays down, closes his eyes, and then his brain is immediately thinking, "Hey, Izuku." And Izuku's like, "Yeah, brain? Aren't you and Inko the only ones living here?" While Izuku's like, "Yeah, and your point?" And his brain's like, "Well, you see that there was a person under your bed, and you didn't question it." While Izuku's like, "Oh, there's a person under my bed. And then Izuku just wakes up with like his eyes are just open. He's like, "Oh my god, there's a person under my bed." He just immediately gets up and starts running right towards that door, opens the door, and just says, "Mom, there's a crazy lady." Flashback POV. Ended. Alright, so Izuku is currently looking at Celestia Lunenburg, wondering when is she going to let go of him? Because he has currently gotten up, she's literally gripping around him, hugging him essentially, and he's trying to pull her off, but he's even using one for all, like at 1%, trying to push her off, and it's not working. So he's just having to walk like this. He's walking while she's like clutched into his chest. Izuku is feeling super embarrassed because everyone's staring at him, thinking that they're a couple. Celestia Lunenburg POV. Currently, Celestia Lunenburg is doing, well, a certain activity that she doesn't really like. Well, she wouldn't usually like, or usually do, but she's currently sniffing Izuku. Wondering exactly why she feels this way. She feels kind of warm and bubbly inside. Feels like butterflies in her stomach. Which is odd, she doesn't eat butterflies. Just kidding, is what she's thinking. And then she thinks, maybe I can make him my king. Choices. Still latched onto him. Then she feels Izuku trying to push her off. And she immediately thinks, "Oh, I see you're trying to pull me off." And Izuku is like looking at her like, "I have to pull you off so I can get to UA." While immediately Celestia Lunenburg is thinking, "Oh, then try to pull me off as much as you'd like." After many failed attempts, just walks with her like that. while Celestia is just still clutched onto him. He goes into a certain classroom. He does his entire test, while Celestia somehow still on Izuku, still clinging onto him, finishes the entire test right beside Izuku. And didn't cheat or anything because people were watching. And the teacher that's watching him and her is immediately thinking, oh, that's a flirty couple, while he said that out loud. And Izuku, who's just about to walk out of the room, said, we're not a couple, please help me, send help. Where's my rape whistle when I need it? POV change. Kurumi is currently in front of Izuku's house, going through his package, and sees that there's the rape whistle. And she thinks, that's a legendary item that you will never have. She throws it up into the air and just starts shooting it with her flintlock. POV change. Izuku thinks, I have my rape whistle at home. I'll make sure I use it. Is what he thinks while walking off, while the teacher's like, oh, so that guy's fucked. Izuku's walking all the way into the briefing room. While he's walking, he sits down in the back row and notices Kurumi is not inside of the room, and he's curious because he was wondering why she's not here. She likes him a lot, so why is she not here trying to become a hero also? Oh well. As he sits down and Celestia Lunenburg finally gets off of him after being called out by a blue-haired boy with glasses after the little briefing on the robots, talking about how there was another robot and how she's been clingy to this boy Izuku and how their little lover spat and everything could just go outside and not become a hero and all this stuff. While she gets up and says, you know that President Mike was about to tell you the last robot, and also what I do and what he does isn't really, your business, or are you his nanny? If you are, then, maybe you can take that stick up your ass and maybe put it somewhere else. She does with a little glare, and her eyes changed, and she was screaming this, by the way, and her face distorted, and honestly, Izuku was shivering, and he's like, oh my god, no, that's an angry bitch, he says in his mind. And Tenya says, okay, while shivering. He sits down and says, she's scary, in his head, while saying, wait, but you didn't sit down properly. While she said, okay. She walks towards Izuku. Izuku's thinking that maybe he should just get up and give her a seat, but she ends up sitting on his lap. And Izuku looks down directly at her while she just looks up towards him very cutely and innocently, saying, do you mind if I have this seat? While Izuku says, I can just get up, right? And then you can sit here. While she's like, no, it's more comfortable with cushioning, is what she says while just bouncing up and down. And Izuku just is looking terrified. And everyone's just looking at him. The guys in envy. The girls are just looking at them like, what the fuck? While Tenya just says, that's not what I meant. That's super improper, lady. And then she says, oh, so is this improper? And she puts the middle finger towards him and says, yes, that's improper. As he slams his head on the desk. Izuku's thinking in his mind, please get me out of here. POV change. Kurumi's currently in Nezu's office, while Nezu is currently staring at her in absolute horror because POV changed. Nezu, 5 minutes ago. Nezu's currently looking through all the files of all the people that are going into classrooms and everything from the special course or from the exemption of the actual tests. So immediately while he's looking through it, he sees there's a Kurumi Tosaka registering, and she has quite a violent history, so he's thinking about denying. Right when he's about to stamp rejection onto the actual page, he immediately feels a shiver down his spine. He looks in front of him just to see, all of a sudden, out of the darkness, a girl with a dress on with two ribbons in her hair, one clock eye and one glowing red eye, sinisterly with a really creepy smile on her face, plastered there, looking at him as if he's signing his death wish with that stamp. So immediately Nezu throws away his stamp, puts his hand behind his back, and says, "Oh, hello there. What can I do for you, terrifying little lady?" And then Kurumi just starts laughing, saying, "Oh, you don't know what terrifying is yet." While Nezu just does a gulp of saliva in his throat. And then he says, yeah, what do you want exactly? He says in a terrified voice. While Kurumi says, "You know what I want. I want you to put me in Class 1A. While Nezu says, I would love to, but you have to do the entrance exam. Kurumi just gets closer towards him and says, "I don't have to do any exam. After all, if you don't put me there, then you're going to be filled with a lot of holes." While Nezu's thinking, "Oh, you're that type." Nezu just about to press his security button before seeing that he got blown to bits in front of him. Looks up, sees that she came with a strap. She came with a flintlock in her right hand and left hand. Has a whole rifle aimed towards his head. And immediately Nezu says, "Okay, I'll put you in Class 1A. Just please do not hurt me or anyone in the school, and I'll agree. But you have to tell me your quirk and everything." She immediately looks at him and says, "I won't tell you my quirk, but I will tell you that if you don't put me in Class 1A or any class that has Izuku Midoriya, I'll make your life." She gets closer towards him, directly face to face. Her breath can be literally felt on Nezu's face. She says, "I'll make your life a living nightmare," she says, and starts giggling sinisterly before seeing tons and tons of hands popping out of the ground, ghost-like hands grabbing onto Nezu, and Nezu's just thinking in his mind, "I've seen enough hentai to know where this is going." Immediately stamping the accepted stamp in his pocket directly towards Kurumi's paper 17 separate times. And Kurumi just walks away and just disappears into thin air. While Nezu says, "I thought I was going to lose my life." While immediately hearing behind him, a female saying, "Well, you lose your waifu to a waifu." Looking behind him, sees another Kurumi, and thinking, "Oh, how are you here? You just disappeared." Like, while pointing in front of him. And she says, "Oh, that's just, well, you see, that's the original. I'm a clone." Also, make sure that that Pomeranian wears that dress the entire time as his dress code. While he says, "What dress?" Bakugo is walking into the gates of UA wearing a dress and high heels with lipstick on. And immediately, Nezu's bursting out laughing at the security camera like, "Oh my god, what happened to him?" And the clone of Kurumi just starts laughing also, says, "Well, you see, he bullied someone and I decided I didn't like that very much, so I decided to turn him into, well, Bakurina." And they start bursting out laughing. Like, they're just on the floor, just like rolling over laughing. While Bakugo is walking into UA and just says, "They better not say shit or I'll blow them up." And he says that out loud while everyone's looking at him, snickering or taking pictures. One person said, "That's one explosive bitch." While Izuku, who's currently inside the testing room, about to go into the UA testing area, is thinking, "I feel like Kachan's in a bad situation right now. Kind of wish I knew what type of situation it was. Wait, this morning he was in a, I think I know what happened." And he starts laughing a lot. He doesn't do his innocent laugh. No, he does his creepy laugh, which Celestia Lunienberg, who's right beside him, thinks it's quite adorable. Everyone else is thinking, "Oh, that guy's creepy." And they're just like backing away from him very slowly. They're in the testing site A. That's where I'm going to end What If Deku Had a Yandere Quirk. If you love this series, make sure you smash that like button into oblivion. Make sure you like and subscribe. And I'll be out. See you next time. Me signing off. Wacky Anime What If.